Welcome back, y'all. Recently, Dress to Impress was under fire for taking designs from smaller creators without permission or giving credit. This led to one of the creators calling out Dress to Impress on Instagram for copying their design. Now, with all the backlash, the devs reworked both the monster heels and the jester doll. I made a video about the whole situation if y'all are interested in watching it. However, I will let y'all know Dress to Impress has not admitted to stealing or anything like that. This is all alleged. Now, even though Dress to Impress reworked the items, the most the team has said is that these reworks were done due to some issues. No further information has been provided. Now, even though Dress to Impress reworked the items, the community has continued to find more and more instances of alleged copying. The most recent accusation being that DTI copied Infinity Nikki. As many of y'all know, there's a new Roblox set in the game called Haunting Beauty. It was released during the Halloween update and it got tons of praise. However, players started to notice similarities between the Haunting Beauty set and the timeless melody Rhapsody from Infinity Nikki. But the question is, did DTI actually copy or were they inspired? The community is a bit split on the situation. Some genuinely feel like this is an example of taking inspiration and creating something new, while others feel like it's too close to the source for it to not be a copy. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the DTI and Infinity Nikki situation, and also discuss the difference between inspiration and straight up copying. Before we start, please do not send hate towards the devs or anyone mentioned in this video. Or in other words, keep it cute or you'll get the boot. Lastly, thank you to everyone who donated and spread the news about the fundraiser. We were able to raise over $100 for Feeding America. Y'all are absolutely the best, and thank you so much to all the shroomies out there. With that being said, let's start with the first section. For those who don't know, Infinity Nikki is a free-to-play adventure / fashion game where you play as Nikki. In the game, you find and craft outfits that give you different powers. There's a main story that players can follow, but you also have the option to do side missions, mini games, and more. The game is actually very popular amongst the cozy game community. However, due to some controversies in the past, a lot of players and content creators stopped supporting the game. Now, there's actually a big crossover between Infinity Nikki and DTI players. If you go on social media, you'll see a lot of DTI players post outfits from Infinity Nikki and vice versa. I actually found a screenshot on Twitter that was posted by Hello Kiara showing that the Nikki survey asked players if they had played any of the following dress-up games, and Dress to Impress was one of the listed options. During the time that people were accusing DTI of stealing from smaller creators, posts began spreading around pointing out the similarities between the Haunting Beauty set and the timeless melody outfit from Infinity Nikki. A Reddit post titled, "Amidst the controversy, I saw a creator say that Dress to Impress allegedly stole from Infinity Nikki." So I looked into it, and I can say that it looks like DTI took heavy inspiration from Wishful Rosa and timeless melody for the pieces. At first, the main item I saw people saying was a copy was the headpiece. But later on, people started pointing out even more similarities. One Twitter post says, "LMAO, Dress to Impress out here reheating Infinity Nikki's nachos." And it showed two pairs of shoes, the ones from the Haunting Beauty set and the ones from Infinity Nikki. I also found two TikTok videos where the creators changed the color scheme of the Haunting Beauty set to match the timeless melody outfit, which did make the similarities more noticeable. Now, before y'all jump me, the creator of the Haunting Beauty set has confirmed that they took inspiration from Infinity Nikki. In one of their videos showing what items they created for the Dress to Impress Halloween update, someone commented, "Is the new Game Pass inspired by Infinity Nikki?" And the creator named Vandis commented, "Clock, Nikki is mother." Which honestly, I love that the dev is more than happy to let players know that they did take inspiration from the set. However, there's a lot of people who are saying this is not inspiration and that the design was stolen. In the comments section, multiple people posted a comparison image of the two outfits. The image points out that the shoes, headpiece, neckpiece, sleeves from the Haunting Beauty set are similar to the timeless melody outfit. Again, the creator of the set has confirmed that they were inspired by Infinity Nikki, so it's not a secret. Now, like I mentioned earlier, players are split on this. Some players feel like the Haunting Beauty set is a straight up copy of the original, while others simply see it as someone taking inspiration from another design. Under the Reddit post I found earlier, comments said, "Now this is genuinely inspiration and what the devs should have been doing from the start." Now another comment says, "Yeah, I think it looks way too much like the Nikki one. The headpiece is the exact same, and the dress is heavily inspired by the second one. I don't know how to feel because at least they try to make it look unique, I guess. Except for the headpiece. Personally, I consider this an inspired by type of design. I don't consider this something that was stolen or copied. Some people have pointed out the Timeless Melody set is inspired by Lolita fashion, which is not exclusive to Infinity Nikki. However, the creator of the Haunting Beauty set did admit that they took inspiration from it, which is 100% okay. But another issue players have with DTI is that they don't give credit, which I think is fair, especially since DTI is a bigger game now. In this case, I feel like it wouldn't hurt to put a description that says, inspired by Timeless Melody or something like that. But to be fair, the creator isn't denying that they took inspiration. Now in the case of the monster heels and the jester doll, that's another story. During this conversation going on about the Haunting Beauty set, the devs reworked the headpiece. DTI News posted, "The Haunting Beauty headpiece has received a stunning revamp in Dress to Impress." They didn't state why this happened, but obviously people speculated it has something to do with it being too similar to the Infinity Nikki one. I'm not too sure though, this is just speculation. What I do know is that players are not happy with the rework. A lot of players feel like the original one was way better, and I agree. I genuinely don't like the new headpiece. It's not ugly, it's just not my thing. Now besides the rework not being as cute, players felt like it was not fair for devs to rework Robux items without warning. One Twitter comment says, "They reworked it without warning anyone or even making a toggle for the old one. Girl, I paid real money for the set, oh my god." Another comment says, "Not gonna lie, reworking a Robux item with no warning doesn't feel right." Honestly, I 100% agree with this. And the worst part is, the same thing happened with the Diamond Pass. The monster heels got reworked into something completely different, and that was also paywalled. So I get why players would be upset about this. Personally, I feel like they should have kept the old one. I feel like it was fine, but who knows what went on behind the scenes. It's possible maybe the Infinity Nikki team contacted DTI saying, "Hey, this is too similar to our design, we need you to change it." We unfortunately don't know and probably will never know. But with that being said, let's move on to the next section and talk about the thin line between inspiration and copying. I'm sure most of you watching already know the difference between being inspired by something versus plagiarism, but even so, I want to include some additional insight. In an article by Medium titled "The Fine Line Between Inspiration and Plagiarism" says, "Inspiration basically entails studying and gaining insight from a particular body of work or experience, understanding its substance, and using it as a stepping stone for your own content. You're not copying the work, just using it to inform your own artistic decisions. That way you invent your own unique voice and style while paying homage to the person's work." In another section, the article says, "Plagiarism, on the other hand, is outright creative robbery. It entails co-opting someone else's work and passing it off as your own. Rather than using the work as a source to ignite your own creative expression, you replicate it without due attribution. This can happen with text, audio, visuals, etc. One characteristic of plagiarism is that it lacks originality. Unlike with inspiration that seeks to add a fresh perspective, plagiarism simply mimics. There's no unique look, just a carbon copy." So based on these descriptions, in my opinion, the Haunting Beauty set is inspired by the Timeless Melody outfit, not a carbon copy. I know some of y'all will disagree, but there's a lot of differences between the two. For example, the Haunting Beauty corset is shaped differently and it doesn't really have any detailed designs, and the skirt has an extra layer in comparison to the Timeless Melody skirt. Now I know there's another Nikki dress that seems to have been used for inspiration as well, called the Miracle Wishful Arosa. If we compare the Dress to Impress set to the Miracle outfit, the shoes and the metal dangly things do look alike, but I feel like they're different enough to where it's not flat out copying. Also, I think it's important to mention that in the fashion world, everyone takes inspiration from each other. That's why so many clothes that people wear right now looks similar to clothes from the 90s or early 2000s, but it has some changes here and there. Now, I do think it's important to call out copied or stolen designs since it's unfair to the artist, but that doesn't mean everything Dress to Impress makes is unoriginal. I know some of y'all are split on that, but I do feel like they've come up with fun and new ideas here and there. Now, besides the Infinity Nikki dress, the monster heels, and the Jester doll, people have found more instances of Dress to Impress copying real-life items such as the Alice in Wonderland dress. A Reddit post titled, "Randomly found what the Alice dress is based on." Apparently, I had pinned the dress on Pinterest 2 years ago. Interestingly enough though, I saw some people under the post saying that this was okay to do. One comment said, "This dress is drop shipped on so many Lolita fashion websites and the OG artist is unknown." I can assure everyone in the comments that a random game on Roblox copying this outfit is least of their concerns, considering a big drop shipping site like Devil Inspired are making profits out of the dress. I'm in no way defending Dress to Impress copying from small artists, but sometimes it feels like you guys want to be on the bandwagon. Someone posted this image 1 month ago when the teaser released and everyone was talking about DTI redemption, so I act like you care now. Honestly, this one is half and half for me because dropship sites straight up steal from small designers and artists all the time, so I don't really know how to feel. There was also a Twitter post going around where it showed 2 in real life makeup looks that were the same as the ones in game. It said, "Dress to Impress caught stealing from other creators again," and the fact that they locked these stolen designs behind paywalls is crazy to me. So before I talk about what the post is saying, I do want to clarify. The first makeup look at the top is not behind a paywall, it's one of the free preset faces. However, the second look is actually behind the diamond pass. Now at first when I saw this Twitter post, I thought I was gonna see a lot of people agreeing. However, a lot of people were actually defending the developers on this one. One comment said, "It's on Pinterest for anyone to use as a reference. It's not stealing, but using a reference." Another comment says, "I don't think it's a problem for them to reference or add items from big creators. The problem is when they take from small creators without permission, especially when they profit off of it, i.e. the monster heels or the Jester doll. Besides that, I think taking inspo is fine." Now real quick before I give my final thoughts, I've seen some people saying that the Jester doll and monster heel incident was not on purpose. A lot of players believe that the devs use Pinterest a lot to come up with new ideas to add to the game. I think the overall purpose of Pinterest is to have an idea board, so people would save a ton of different items to use as reference, whether it's for interior design, art poses, outfit ideas, etc. But not everything on Pinterest is submitted by the original creator, so there's a chance DTI could end up replicating a design that a smaller creator is not okay with. And since there's no way of really knowing, it's best not to follow the reference so closely. I do believe there's certain things that are meant to be replicated like makeup ideas, but I think we can all agree there's certain things that need to have credits added to it. If it's not available, then it's probably better not to replicate it exactly like the original, and instead create something unique from the original. And hey, I get it, being original and creative is not easy. I struggle with it all the time and it genuinely sucks. But Dress to Impress is a really big game now, so players will search for the original items and make posts about it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, inspiration is always fine, but if you're going to copy, just be ready for someone to call it out. Honestly, it's not worth it, especially if it'll lead to a ton of items getting reworked, and it'll cause even more problems if the item is paywalled. Anyways, that's enough yapping from me. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video, I really appreciate it. Honestly, this topic is a little hard to talk about because it's very nuanced. Some things are okay, others are never okay, and then there's certain things that are okay sometimes. But let me know in the comments down below how you feel. Do you think DTI copied Infinity Nikki? Or do you feel like the Haunting Beauty set was inspired by the Timeless Melody set? Also, what's your take on the devs copying real life items? Do you think it's fine? Do you feel like it should never be done? Or does it depend on the situation? Okay, bye, see you in the next one. Bye, okay, bye, see you, bye.